And to everyone who hates when I win, the winged victory came to the Louvre in pieces, and people still line up to see her.
Oh my God.
And I can only hope
What does that mean?
that despite my flaws, and despite my cracks and my breaks, and there are many of them, that at every premiere and everything I do, people will wait in line to see.
It sounds like you're one of the only ones there, just like Rachel Zegler, as it turns out, and we part with this video of Rachel Zegler alone in a theater watching herself. One of the most unlikable humans.
That
ever.
is sadder than when the original Snow White needs to happen.
Okay, so Rachel Zegler has officially entered her flop era. And no, this isn't just another Twitter drag or a Reddit roast thread. We're talking real life, real time, seats empty kind of flop. Like tumbleweed rolling across the London Palladium stage flop. Yup, your girl Rachel, fresh off the ashes of Snow White, the disaster cut, was supposed to make a grand comeback with her stage debut in Evita. This was supposed to be her "see, I'm still that girl" moment. But plot twist, it's tanking harder than that remake. Disney quietly regrets ever greenlighting. Like, harder than a Netflix adaptation of a beloved anime.
Rachel Zegler is a no-name actress. She's barely been in anything, actually. If you look at her IMDb, West Side Story was the first one it was the first movie she was in, basically.
So here's the tea. Rachel is starring as Eva Peron in the West End revival of Evita, and it's at the London Palladium, a legendary venue that seats 2,286 people. This isn't some hole-in-the-wall local theater. We're talking prime real estate in London's theater scene. But when you check the booking site, ghost town, like, you could throw a party in one of those empty sections and still have room for snacks. It's that bad. Early booking data shows that over 70% of seats are going unsold. And I'm not talking about the back row either. The premium seats are sitting there like sad puppies no one adopted. Tickets are dropping as low as $29.50, which is basically bargain bin pricing for West End standards. I've seen more hype over a local high school's rendition of The Sound of Music, no joke. And here's the thing, Rachel knows it's bad. You can see it in every press appearance. That nervous energy, that panicked smile, that please clap vibe, yeah, it's giving desperation. And it's not just first night jitters. It's regret, because no matter how far she runs, the ghost of her Snow White controversy keeps following her like a cursed apple she can't spit out. Let's rewind for a sec. Remember when she went on a full press tour bashing the original Snow White? Calling the prince a stalker, saying the classic fairy tale was weird and outdated? Girl, the 1937 version made generations believe in magic. Disney didn't just make a movie, they made childhood memories. And she came in with this girl boss reboot energy like she was doing us a favor. Newsflash. No one asked for that lecture, and now the karma is real. Theater doesn't lie. You either sell tickets or you don't. There's no PR spin, no box office math games. You're on stage, and if nobody shows up, you're just a very expensive rehearsal. Meanwhile, what's even weirder is that the internet seems confused. A clip of Rachel at the Met Gala, yes, she still got an invite somehow, is circulating on TikTok, and people are praising her like she didn't just drag one of the most beloved fairy tales through the mud. And get this, Gal Gadot, who played the evil queen and literally did nothing wrong, is getting flamed in the comments, like, what universe are we in? Now, Gal hasn't taken names, but let's just say she made some very interesting comments about teamwork on set, and how exhausting the whole experience was. I mean, come on, we can read between the lines. Someone wasn't playing nice in The Sandbox, and Rachel's the common denominator. And before the stands come for me, yes, Rachel is talented. No one's denying the girl can sing, but this isn't about vocal cords. This is about vibes. The audience isn't buying what she's selling anymore. And honestly, they haven't been for a while. Okay, so here's where it starts to get really suspicious. After news broke that Evita was flopping like a wet pancake in the middle of London, theater reps, or, let's be honest, someone's PR team tried to play cleanup with this wild claim that the show had already racked up $4 million in ticket sales before Rachel was even announced. I'm sorry, what? Where? Who bought these tickets? The ghost of Eva Peron, because when you actually go to the booking site, it's empty. Like, painfully empty. We're talking rows and rows of unsold seats stretching into June, July, and August. You could literally plan a family reunion and have enough space to bring extended family. Cousins, step-cousins, your dog, all of them. So naturally, people started asking questions. And Reddit did not disappoint. Threads are popping up all over, with fans and theatergoers calling out the math. Like, if $4 million worth of tickets were supposedly sold before Rachel joined the cast, then why is it still so easy to grab front row seats right now? It's not adding up. Even with cancellations and refund requests, that kind of drop-off is suspiciously dramatic. People are calling it what it probably is, a PR stunt. Just some conveniently timed headline to give the illusion of hype and get those desperate last-minute buyers to think, oh no, it's selling fast, better grab my ticket now. But plot twist, no one's grabbing anything. They're scrolling, seeing all the blue dots, and backing out faster than Rachel during a live Q&A. And here's the worst part. This isn't just about theater numbers. This is about how Hollywood tries to force-feed us stars we didn't ask. Like, let's be honest, Rachel had one major credit, West Side Story. She did great, sure, but immediately Hollywood was like, yup, she's our next Disney princess. Give her all the roles, all the press, all the red carpet looks. Meanwhile, the audience was like, wait, who? They tried to skip the build a relationship with the audience part and just launched her into main character mode. But here's the thing, you can't microwave stardom. It doesn't work like that. Charisma has to click. It can't be manufactured. If the public isn't feeling it, they just won't show up. And theater is especially brutal. In film, you can use editing tricks, CGI, post-production magic, you can fake a hit. But live performance, it's raw. It's real. There's no hiding behind a camera crew. If people don't buy in, emotionally and financially, you're performing to a sea of red velvet chairs. So here we are, Rachel's up on stage belting her lungs out in one of the most iconic roles in musical history. And she's doing it for, like 200 people in a 2,000 plus seat venue? That's not just awkward, that's haunting. And yet, for some reason, the industry is still pushing her, still booking her, still promoting her, still acting like this is just a slow start and not a full-on warning sign. At this point, it's not even confidence, it's delusion. Execs are acting like if they just keep shoving Rachel in our faces, we'll eventually break down and love her. Spoiler alert, that's not how it works. The more forced it feels, the more people resist. It's like trying to make fetch happen. It's not gonna happen, so here's where things get real. Let's give credit where it's due. Rachel Zegler is talented. She can sing, she can act, she has stage presence. No one's denying that. But in 2025, talent is just one piece of the puzzle. And when the other pieces are messy interviews, a condescending tone, and an ongoing PR nightmare, it doesn't matter how many octaves you can hit. People will check out. The Snow White backlash wasn't just a bad PR cycle, it was a turning point. Rachel's infamous interviews, where she dragged the original 1937 classic for being outdated and called the prince a stalker, hit people in the nostalgia bone. The way she framed the reboot as a lecture on female leadership instead of a fairy tale people grew up loving. It didn't land. Like, yes, modern updates can be powerful, but mocking what made the original beloved, that just felt smug. It didn't help that in every press appearance, Rachel's tone came off more dismissive than empowering, and people noticed. It wasn't that she said something controversial once, it was that she kept doubling down, never reading the room. That's how you lose the audience, fast. And now that she's on stage trying to rebuild from all that, the damage is done. People remember how you made them feel, and unfortunately, Rachel made a lot of people feel like they were being talked down to. Even if she didn't mean it that way, perception is everything. Meanwhile, Gal Gadot, her Snow White co-star, is out here dropping somewhat shady but still classy remarks about lack of teamwork and how the production was exhausting. She never named names, but do we really need a neon sign? The implication is loud and clear. Word on the street is that Gal was less than thrilled with Rachel's energy on set. And if true, that's another red flag for casting directors. Because here's the brutal truth. Hollywood isn't just about talent anymore, it's about connection. Audiences want stars who feel real, who respect the craft and the fans. People like Florence Pugh, who's rumored to be cast as Rapunzel in a now-paused Tangled remake, have that likability factor. Even when people complain she's too old for the role, she's not, by the way, the backlash feels mild because people like her. That goodwill buys you room to grow. Rachel doesn't have that luxury anymore. Her name on a marquee doesn't get people excited. It makes them pause. Not because she's untalented, but because the vibe is off. People don't want another lecture disguised as a musical. They want escapism, nostalgia, magic. And right now, Rachel Zegler doesn't represent any of that. She represents the pushy side of modern Hollywood that tries to force a narrative, not earn it. Even fans who have met her in person are conflicted. One TikToker recently said, "I didn't like what she said about Snow White either. But in person, she was actually really sweet, super talented." And that's the thing. Rachel might be wonderful up close. She might blow the roof off the theater every night. But if her public persona is icy, dismissive, and detached from what fans actually care about, then none of that matters. At the end of the day, you can't win people over with press releases. You win them with humility, consistency, and being likable. The audience decides who becomes a star, not the studio. And Hollywood seems to keep forgetting that. Rachel Zegler's career isn't over. Not by a long shot, but it is in a weird limbo. She's talented, yes, but the industry pushed her too hard, too fast, without giving her the time or space to connect with people first. Now every role feels like damage control, every show feels like a test, and the silence in those half-empty theaters, that's the loudest feedback of all. So what happens next? That's up to Rachel. She can still turn this around, but it'll take more than good vocals. It's going to take a serious reset. Less Hollywood's next big thing, more humble, hardworking artist ready to prove herself. Because in the end, the audience always has the final say. If you're still with us, you know the drill. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Is Rachel being unfairly dragged, or is this the consequence of Hollywood's obsession with fast-tracking fame? Either way, we're watching closely. And hey, if you want more spicy deep dives like this, hit that like button and subscribe. We've got more tea brewing, and trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming next. See you next time.